NoStressMike.com. Okay, what I want to talk about is English. Yes, English. I believe the United States would be much better off if they made English the official language. Oh man, does that upset you? Okay, we'll make it Spanish. We'll make it Chinese. We'll make it Japanese. We can make it anything you want, but just make it a language so we all can communicate. We won't understand each other's cultures. We won't prosper as a nation when we divide ourselves up by language. Don't forget, I just came back from China. China doesn't speak the same language. They do have Mandarin as their official language, but people don't speak Mandarin. A lot do, but you're not going to have that as the language going across the nation. Really, so that's one of the big reasons why the United States has got the advantage over the bigger nations. Can't talk about Russia, but I know like China, I say they're different languages. If we're all speaking the same language, we can give direction, we can give instruction, we can prosper. Because we're all going the same direction. And that's how you not only, and to me, when you are better, our nation is better. So the idea is, if we all are on the same goal, we can improve. And that's why we have they call them the leftists, and they call them I guess they call themselves progressive. They won't even say that they're communists, like that's what the progressives are, is communists. They won't even say it. But the thing is, they know they have to divide the country. And a good way to divide the country is through language. If you don't speak the same language, you're not going to be able to go the same direction. And we have, in the past, we had an immigration system that would allow so many immigrants to come into our nation, and that gives them a chance to learn the language, to learn our customs, to learn the American way. Now what's happened is we've allowed all these immigrants to flood in, and they get into their own little cliques, and they don't need to, nor do they want to learn the American way. They escaped wherever it was they came from, and they brought their nasty baggage with them. If they would learn to be an American, they would learn the American way, and they would prosper instead of sticking their hand out and say, give me, because that's what they did where they came from. The United States isn't a give me nation. And if we could talk the same language, I would explain that to you. And I've mentioned, in China, yes, you can translate the words, but not the meaning. That's what's happening when all the immigrants come in. They want a translation of what's going on, and it's not going to translate properly. That's why they need to become an American. They need to learn English, learn the language. we don't change over for them. The big companies do. And that's because they've got the financial resources to do all that stuff. And they want to do that to get the small businesses out. That's why they come up with all these regulations. More, you see the labeling is done in what, 2, 3, 4 different languages? That's why. If you made it in the official language, then it's only in one language. That's what I was talking about. I don't care what language it is, but just give me a language that I know we can all communicate with. Ooh, barbed wire in the... Can you imagine if a cow ate that? That wouldn't be good. So, but, so you have to be able to communicate, and it's not just in words. You have to learn and understand how things are going. And, but you're not going to if you don't even do the language. I know, you all are saying, well, how about me? I'm in Guatemala, when I lived in Guatemala, and I didn't speak Spanish. Well, you're right. It was difficult. Matter of fact, how many of you go to Guatemala? You don't. Why? One reason is you don't understand the language. Another thing is you don't know the customs. You don't understand how the system works. And you would make it easier if you could understand the language. And I told you, I've got problems anyway. And I've got learning disabilities. I learn different than others. So I'm used to all this. I'm used to having problems. That's why I can function when things aren't working right. And that's why most people stay comfortable. And, but there's nothing wrong with knowing the local language. If I knew Spanish, I could have prospered even more when I was in Guatemala. So, you know, and you don't hear me whine that they don't speak English. It's not whining. I tell you how it goes and how it works and what I do. And I tell you, it's hard. It's easier if you understood the language, but it's not impossible. And most people in time, like I say, I lived there for 14 years, in time would learn the language, but not everybody does. My stepmother came from China. She never did learn English. So it just, and it makes it difficult for her, just like it was difficult for me. But like I say, the countries shouldn't have to change to you. In China, that was probably the worst problem I ever had. I mean, I couldn't even read. I mean, the signs, they do a symbol. They don't do writing like we know writing. So, I mean, even if I can't read Spanish, I can at least see I can see the word, even though I don't understand the word. But a bunch of symbols, you're not going to do it. And I've also explained that in China, if you learn 500 symbols, that's considered literate. Now, and just think, how many words can you read in English? Far more than 500. That explains why Chinese products aren't really of good quality. They don't have the communications, they don't have the words to improve on what they're doing. Don't let me bother you, just go on and eat. Can you hear them eating? Well, they're doing a good job eating. That's their job, is to eat. They're doing good. They don't need to talk. But anyway, if we had one language, it would be easier for the people to become Americans. You know how many people in the United States don't even want to be an American? Well, then why the hell are they in the United States? For the money. They're here for greed. They don't want to become an American. They want some of the benefits of being an American, but they don't want to be an American. Why would we make it easy for them? I don't know. Other than, like I say, the communists, the progressives want to destroy this nation. But by destroying it is how they can take power. It always happens like that. Looking right now, Venezuela. They got things all screwed up now, and now they're under a dictatorship. You know what I mean? It's not going to work. They need to be able to speak a language here in the United States. Why? We're not like the rest of the world. We are very special, we're very unique, but we're not if we can't even communicate with each other. This is Mike, NoStressMike.com.